F1 journalist Will Buxton described the fury shown by Nikita Mazepin towards Haas teammate Mick Schumacher at Zandvoort. The rookie pair have had a fair few spats since joining the F1 grid this year, but their latest drama at the Dutch Grand Prix appears to be the most heated yet. Both drivers were preparing for their final attempts to make Q2 as the traffic piled up, leading to a near miss between Mazepin, Schumacher and Sebastian Vettel, who was on a push lap. But Mazepin explained that this drama was triggered by the actions of his teammate, who apparently for the second race in a row, ignored the on-track priority which Mazepin had. Describing the initial aftermath, Buxton said he had rarely seen a driver so angry over a situation not related to a crash. By the time he spoke to Sky F1, Mazepin was a fair bit calmer than the scene described by Buxton, but nonetheless confirmed his displeasure over Schumacher's actions.
The disaster happened. In Formula 1 teams, one weekend you are the first car, the next weekend you are the second, so I was meant to be the first car this weekend, which normally gets the track priority and is able to dictate the pace for the outlap for the drivers around. But your team driver isn't able to overtake you. Well, it happened for the second time. He overtook me, backed me up, and into Seb. So I'll have a word with the team to see why that happened.
Schumacher explained that he had asked the team if he could pass Mazepin, as his tire temperatures were dropping too low, a request which was granted. And so, confused about Mazepin's anger, he said this is a situation which will now be addressed internally.
I don't know what Nikita is saying. I think at the end his crew didn't give him the message. I asked if I could overtake, because my tires were quite cold, and he usually does a lap that is a bit slower than mine, and I got the okay from the team and overtook accordingly. I think Lando was between us, and I don't see a reason to make drama out of it. His lap didn't get ruined. We will discuss this internally, and Steiner will also say something. In my opinion, on our side, we didn't do anything wrong.
Whatever was going on down at Haas, it undoubtedly had major implications for Vettel, who was eliminated in Q1 after Mazepin swerved into his path. The stewards confirmed that they would investigate the incident after qualifying, but thanks to Vettel's intervention, Mazepin and Schumacher escaped punishment. And despite this major hold-up, Vettel does not believe Aston Martin can hide behind it as an excuse for their Q1 exit.
At that stage, not much I can do, but overall we didn't have the pace. I think when we were on track we were not quick enough. For sure we could have timed the last run a bit better, but overall obviously disappointing. In the practice sessions it looked okay, but we didn't make a step in the afternoon.
Extra feed. Aston Martin have dismissed a report that team owner Lawrence Stroll approached Fernando Alonso to replace Sebastian Vettel and was turned down.
Lawrence Stroll did not offer a drive to Fernando Alonso, as has been reported in some media. Lawrence had lunch with Alonso's manager Flavio Briatore in Sardinia during the summer break. Lawrence and Flavio are friends. They have lunched together in Sardinia many times over many years. It was a social occasion, nothing more.
Mercedes boss Toto Wolff has made a U-turn, now saying he will only allow Alex Albon to join Williams if Red Bull release him. Denying previously that he had no issue if Albon joins Williams, Wolff has now spoken.
It's one thing about the power unit, and I think Albon, as I said, is a driver that deserves a seat in Formula 1. But it's tricky to have a 100% Red Bull driver on a Mercedes power unit. So, happy to work with him, as long as they let him free from his Red Bull contract. And on the other side, we are supporting Nick de Vries obviously, and he's in talks with Williams to get the seat there. So there's quite some balls in the air.
Charles Leclerc was left regretting his request for more wing at Zandvoort, feeling the decision denied him P4 on the grid.
It's a pity. I asked maybe for a bit too much wing on the last run in Q3. Because on the first run in Q3 I felt a bit of understeer, but I had to go with understeer on the last run, because we lost a bit the back of the car. In particular at turn 10, there I lost a lot the back of the car. That cost me, in my opinion, the hundreds for the fourth place.
Pierre Gasly was left to wonder why he has not been given a recall to Red Bull Racing after qualifying fourth for the Formula 1 Dutch Grand Prix. Asked if he had been told why he had been overlooked for a Red Bull seat in 2022, Gasly responded.
I wonder why. But yeah, there were discussions. I think Red Bull are really happy with my performance, but they made their decision. Obviously, it was a small disappointment for me as that's where I want to be. I want to have a fast car. AlphaTauri, give me a really strong car, but it was up to Red Bull, and unfortunately it didn't happen. It doesn't mean it won't happen in the future, but for sure for next year I'm not going to drive there.
Christian Horner has confirmed Max Verstappen's pole position for the Dutch Grand Prix was such a close call only because of a DRS issue.
We saw he lost a lot of straight line speed just down the last straight, and it looks like the DRS hasn't opened properly. He's probably given away a tenth and a half. But an amazing performance by him under massive pressure, so really happy with that.
And Ricciardo admitted to being a little agitated after his Q1 and Q2 promise at the Dutch Grand Prix dissipated in Q3.
I think Q1 was solid, we just kind of let the car be and let the track come to us. Q2 I think showed that it was another good step and I was certainly comfortable, and then in Q3 I don't want to say it came undone, but we lost speed and I'm not sure why. I immediately felt it in turn 1, like a lack of grip, but the answers we're not sure of at the moment. It could just be that there was a red flag, the wind changed, or whatever, but obviously everyone else was able to find speed.
Lewis Hamilton has welcomed the idea of George Russell being his teammate should the British rising star move to Mercedes next season.
Russell is an incredibly talented driver and one of the members of the future of the sport. At the moment, naturally I have to be super supportive of the teammate I have right now. So that's why I'm always supportive of Valtteri, because we have a job to do right now. Neither of us can win the team championship alone. We have to do it collectively. George has already shown incredible driving, and I'm sure he's going to continue to grow. So where better to do it than in a great team like this, or whatever team he goes to.
That's all from the Dutch GP Saturday News Roundup. Subscribe now for post-race news and analysis. Enjoy the race, and do mention in comments which driver are you rooting for today's Dutch Grand Prix. Until next time, goodbye and take care.